What I'm showing you now are two yellowed resin projects that I've done over the past couple years, and they have turned yellow because they're sitting out in the heat and the sun. So I brought them in the house, flipped them upside down, and I am going to pour a colored resin over them. The reason I'm putting it on the back instead of the front is because the mermaid is painted, and if I put it on the front it would cover up the paint. And for the sunflower project, the leaves are level with the resin on the project, and the colored resin would cover up the leaves. I did clean the backs of them real well with rubbing alcohol. And the resin I'm going to be using for this project is Resiner's Resin. It's a 1-to-1 ratio resin that you mix slowly in a cup, just like most other resins. I had to take those two big art pieces from outside in anyway because of the hurricane. So I decided this would be a great time to re-resin the back. I've been wanting to do it because they're both yellowed and they look terrible. And the picture makes them look better than they really are. They really are yellowed terribly. So anyway, I mixed the resin up, and for the mermaid I'm actually going to need 36 ounces of resin. So I put two 8-ounce cups into one of the silicone cups there, and I do use some blue mica powder, and I am using the Resiner's mixer. The Resiner's mixer has two mixing paddles, so you can actually mix 2 cups at the same time. And it also has speed adjustments, so you can choose your own speed. And I have this video sped way up, so it looks like it's really turning fast, but it's not. And like I said, you can adjust it to whatever speed you want it. And you can actually manipulate the cup around so that it hits the sides of the cup and lift it up a little bit so it hits the bottom of the cup. It really is a nice mixer. I like it a lot. I was sent another mixer from another company, and it only had 1 speed, and it went so fast, it created so many bubbles, I actually ended up tossing it. I know that sounds awful, but there just was no reason to keep it. I don't know. I don't think I did a video on it because I didn't want to lie to anybody and tell anybody it was a good mixer. But this one really is a good mixer. I'm really enjoying it, and it's very useful. So anyway, as I go on, I find that I have mixed too much mica powder into my resin. So I end up mixing up more resin, clear resin. I don't know if I show it on this or not, but I end up taking those 2 cups that are mixing now, pour them in other cups, and then pour clear resin into the big cups and mix some of the blue resin in because it's just too opaque. I really want it to be kind of transparent. So by the end of this, I have created such a mess that it's unbelievable. But I just keep on mixing, and I'm trying to work really fast because I'm afraid the resin's going to set up. This Resiner's resin does have a 45-minute work time. So as I'm pouring it on the sunflower project first, and this is on the back, I realize it is just too opaque, and I'm kind of getting sick to my stomach, but I've come this far. What else am I going to do? So if you keep watching to the end of this video, 4 days later, I actually take the resin off of it. You won't believe it, what I do. So now here's the mermaid project. So the mermaid, what I am able to do is I'm able to spread it out thin enough so that it's transparent. I think I just put it on too thick on the sunflower. But so I just keep on manipulating the mermaid, put a little bit more on top, just keep on manipulating it and let the resin roll around. And this one ended up working out good. Actually, I love the way this turned out. Some areas are a little bit darker than others, but it just makes it look like water. On watching. So the mermaid's done. I'm going to show you that at the end. And this one, it was just way too dark. It was ugly, and I can't believe I didn't take a picture of what it looked like when it was done. But anyway, here I am taking the resin off. And like I said, so on Wednesday is the day, I think I might have taken them down on Tuesday actually. So I took them down on Tuesday, and I'm doing this, removing the resin on Sunday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 5 days later, I'm removing the resin. And what I'm using is a heat embosser, and I'm just have it on, pointed at the resin, and I start by getting a corner softened with the heat embosser and chipping away at that part. And as I go on, I'm able to get larger and larger pieces at a time. And this I have way in fast motion. It was really pretty tiring at first, but after a while I was able to get up big chunks of it. And then finally, this last part is actually 9 minutes of recording, and I have it condensed down to 1 minute. So it was, as I went on, it was easier and easier because I got the idea of how I could do it. I could actually get under it and rip off large pieces at a time. So you really have to heat it up first with the heat embosser. And if you were doing this on a piece of glass that you had, it possibly could break the glass. And I think the reason that this did not break is because, first of all, the window glass is thicker, and second of all, there's a resin on the other side strengthening the glass below it. So that's probably why it didn't break. Otherwise, if you're trying to do it on a regular picture frame, it may break. You'll notice I am wearing a respirator while I'm heating up the resin because it will emit fumes that could be dangerous, even if it's a resin with no VOCs. So here it is. I've brought it outside to clean it up. I'm going to wash down the back of it, but you can see how yellow it is, and it's kind of difficult to tell, but here I put one of my old projects that has not yellowed next to it. And you can see a little better how, what a difference it is between the, well, actually it's not an old project, it's a newer project, and how that's clear and how yellow the sunflower project looks next to it. So I started over with the sunflower and I mixed up resin. I think I mixed up about 26 ounces, and how I came up with that amount was I measured one of the rectangles and I multiplied it times 6. So for those of you who do not know how to figure out how much resin you're supposed to use, most resins have a resin calculator on their website, and if you can't find one on their website, just go to the Art Resin website. And this takes into account that you're pouring it about 1/8 inch thick. So I'm mixing it with this Resiners mixer, and this is really cool because you can do 2 at the same time. You can manipulate the cups so that it gets the edges and the bottom, and it looks like it's going real fast, but I have this sped way up. And the bad thing about using those silicone cups that aren't translucent, you can look at it from the top, but you cannot see it from the sides, and it can be very deceptive. Sometimes when you look at it from the top, it looks like it's clear and there's no more swirls. You really need to look at it from the side. So this time I'm using alcohol inks to color it. And when you look at it, when it's very deep in a container, it looks much darker than what it will appear when you're only pouring it 1/8 inch thick on glass or on a canvas. So you really need to test it on a piece of glass like I'm doing. I'm kind of going through this real fast, but you can see it, the blue on the glass. In addition to the alcohol ink that I'm using, I'm also using some Bombay Indian ink, and just to get to the color that I want. And again, if you look over at the glass that I'm testing it with, you can see me pouring it on there to test the color. So once I have it to the color that I want it, I start pouring it on the project, and I'm actually measuring it out 4 ounces on each part, and then I have some left over to fill in wherever it needs to be. And I use a little spreading tool to spread it out. I end up using a different resin because I ran out of the Resiners resin for this second part, and I'm using the Naked Fusion New and Improved formula. This also has no VOCs. Cures best at temperatures between 70 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit, has a work time of 45 minutes, and completely cures within 72 hours, although it's dry to touch by the next day. Once a project is done, I come back every 15 minutes to check for bubbles and retorch if I need to. I get down eye level and look to see if there's any sediment in it, use a toothpick to get it out. This does not have any glass on it, but I always check for glass placement to make sure nothing shifted. It's in your best interest to read the directions for the resin that you are using because all resins are different, and it's in your best interest to cover it with a dust cover. So when this was done, I wanted to make the flowers and everything a little bit darker because the blue was kind of showing through the translucent glass. So I took the different colors of TAMIYA spray paint and sprayed inside a glass container and then used a little paintbrush. And you have to do it in a glass container because the spray paint can melt plastic. And I took the paintbrush and I painted the red flowers at the bottom. I did the same thing for the blue flowers and the same thing for the yellow sunflowers, just to make them a little bit darker so that you didn't see the blue as much through them because it kind of changed the color. So this is the sunflower project all finished. Not sure that I'm thrilled with it. The colors look nice and bright though, the yellow and the blue in that and the red. Once I touched it up, I think that was a really good idea with the spray paint. And the mermaid, I really like the blue behind it and the variation in color. I think that really turned out nice. Hey everyone, I hope you can see both of the pictures okay. I'm going to zoom in a second so that you can see them better. But so my favorite one, of course, is the mermaid. The variation in color with it darker in some areas and lighter in others I really like because it makes it look like it's water. And I really like the way that turned out. This, it looks better than having yellow resin. But I don't know what I would do different. I don't know if you guys have any suggestions. Maybe like vary the color, lighters and darker blues, or even another color. Maybe even like a bright yellow in the background or a bright purple or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, so this is a suggestion. If you have glass art that's yellowed, that's a way of fixing it. Like I said, this one I really like. This one's okay. It looks better than it was before being so yellow. I was kind of embarrassed keeping them out here. They had turned so yellow. So you cannot put your resin projects out in the heat or out in sunlight, even indirect sunlight, or that's what happens to them. So I hope you guys learned something new. I hope you enjoyed the project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. If you enjoy the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Come join us over on the Facebook group. A lot of fun going on over there, and I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks for watching.